Hey, what's up guys? So, for those of you who are gonna watch this, this is gonna be a little Tera video. It's kind of like a little informational video or a guide, whatever you want to call it, to new players. This won't be useful to people who are coming from PC, because most likely they'll already know this kind of stuff. But this is for the ones who haven't really played Tera and they just want to jump in with both feet. They downloaded the game and now they're wanting to have some fun. And this is just a little guide on like how to how things are done basically. And some of you might say things like, oh, it doesn't matter how you play as long as you're having fun. Yeah, that's true, but if you're just having fun and doing complete shitty things, and then the ones who actually want to do well are having a terrible time because you're terrible. This mostly goes for everybody really. Okay, so first off, avatar weapons. You might have been confused about why they give you a free weapon. What that means is this weapon does more crits when the level of the weapon is the same as the level of the monster that you're killing, or at least close to it. So this sword is level 32. You can see it here for level 32 or above. That means that it will crit 90% of the time when you're attacking. Or 90% of all your attacks are going to crit when you're attacking monsters from level 30 up to about 34. When you're going to like 35 or 36, it might still crit, but it's gonna, the amount of crit chance decreases by a ton. So, but by the time you get to like 38, you're gonna have a new one that the game gives you, because it goes by 6 levels. So this one's 32, next one's gonna be 38, and then you get the idea. Next one's level 44. And right now you can see it's clean. There's no pluses on it or anything. This is how you plus it to +9, and you can see the benefits of getting it to +9 right here. It says increased damage by 4.5, crit power by 0.24, and attack speed by 4%. So you want to shoot for at +6, but you're more than welcome to go to +9 because it doesn't really cost you anything. I'll show you here. I'm gonna enchant, and what it's gonna ask is to put in feedstocks and alkahests. So we don't have any use for the tier 1 alkahest because it's too low of a tier. This one's tier 1 feedstock, so I have a ton of tier 1 feedstocks, but not too many tier 2 feedstocks. And I'm going to, what's cool is I can combine the tier 1s and turn it into tier 2s. And we'll press OK. And you can just basically get these, just picking them up when you're entering dungeons, which is, on a side note, is probably the best way of leveling, unless you like the whole Kuma Battlegrounds or whatever. I personally don't, so we're gonna stick with this one. So here's the weapon. We're gonna enchant it. And we're gonna click on the feedstock, and you can choose between these 4, 8, 24, or 48. That just means how many feedstocks you're gonna use. I would just go with the recommended. So recommended right now is 4. So I'll press on 4, and click on the tier 3 alkahests, and then I'm gonna press square for auto enchant, and I'll just let it enchant by itself. And then when it's done, it's not gonna be +9 obviously, because if you do the math, you're not gonna have enough feedstock. Or I'm not gonna have enough feedstock. So when I go to dungeons, I'm gonna make sure to keep picking up feedstocks and alkahests. So there we go, we got +7. So now you can see that in green it's +6, crit power 0.24. So that's what we're shooting for. And it also increases the damage too. So those are not just the benefits. Like you can see it from +7, 612 attack modifier, and 627 for +8. So we're gonna go back and we're gonna equip it. And another thing with the weapon is we are going to equip crystals. What crystals do? Wait, I'm gonna open a box of crystals. You might have noticed little boxes like these, Crescentia, Frontera, crystals like that. Open them. They will have crystals that you need for to increase your damage of the weapon. Okay, so I'll show you right now my weapon's clean. It doesn't have any crystals on it. Let's zoom out a little bit. So I can show you. I'll go from the back side here. Come on, attack me. Says 2,000. We're gonna stun him so we can overhand strike 12,000, right? Okay, remember that number. Alright, and let's see, let's go back over here. Please get out of my face. We're gonna go back to our weapon, and we're gonna equip remove crystals. Now we're gonna wear all of these ones. Basically, if you're DPS or a damage dealing class, warrior, berserker, slayer, archer, sorcerer. Archer and sorcerer have a slightly different crystal setup, but most of the DPS classes you're going to be focusing on focused, Bitter, Savage, and Pounding. I don't have a Pounding one right now, and it basically increases my damage flat. But Carving Hexage increases the chance to crit by 2.1%. It sounds pretty good. It means that we're going to crit more, but since we have an avatar weapon, we're always going to crit anyway, so it's kind of a waste of slots. But since I don't have a Pounding, let's just put it on there. So we said 12,000 for the Overhand Strike was our last damage. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like. Oh, there you are. So, those crystals only work if you're behind the monster, which is why, to get to my next point, it's important when you're in a dungeon for the tanks to know what they're doing and be able to keep the aggro, or, you know, keep the attention of the monster, so that the DPS players can stay behind the monster and do their thing. So we're gonna see here, we're gonna stun him. Okay, Overhand Strike did not crit that time, but as you can see, I'm doing a ton more damage, like 23,000. That's how much my Overhand Strike dealt, versus 12,000 without any of the crystals. So I'm gonna try it over here again. Oh, but that guy already killed it. So that's a huge, huge increase in damage. That's about 11,000 increase in damage. And when you put into account, like, you know, later in the game, you'll be doing like millions, you know, per hit. And instead of doing 1 million, you'll do 1.9 million, which is a ton of damage that you're losing if you don't use these crystals. So very, very important, use these crystals because they will save you time because you'll kill the boss faster and it'll, you know, you'll see bigger numbers. Overhand Strike, 18,000. That was the focused. Also, focused only activates when the monster is enraged. That time the monster wasn't enraged. Let's find one that, let's find another one and then we'll attack it and then have it be enraged and then we'll attack. And I should, in theory, get another 23,000 for my Overhand Strike. So I'll just keep attacking this guy until he's enraged. It's pretty obvious when they go, when they enrage. Come on, buddy. Get angry for me. Alright, doesn't look like he's getting angry. Come on. It's pretty obvious because, like, they'll start steaming. And not steaming, but, like, you know. You know when a monster looks mad? There you go. So he's mad. Okay, that didn't crit that time. So he's angry. We'll do another one of these. 23,000. 36,000 from a measured slice. When someone is tanking, especially a brawler or a lancer, they will actually enrage the monster a lot more, or you know, more often, basically. So, you know, take advantage of that. All these crystals do a ton, you know, make you do a ton more damage. So, take advantage of it. Like I said, DPS classes should have Focused, Pounding, Savage, and Bitter. For tanks, there's a crystal that helps them do more damage when they're in front of the monster, and also a crystal that helps them keep the monster's attention. I think it's a Threatening crystal and a Wrathful crystal. So let's do it again. Okay, that didn't stun him. That didn't stun him either. Okay, he's angry. We should do some damage here. 27,000, 36,000. Okay, little public service announcement. Use those crystals because, especially for tanks, I would recommend at lower levels tanks use like 4 Threatening because people who are a little experienced, I wouldn't say a little experienced, like, you know, people who kind of know what to do, basically, they'll do a ton more damage and the monster's attention will go to them instead of the tank. Like myself, like, I'm not saying I'm good by any means, I'm just saying that I get aggro a lot because the tank doesn't have the right crystals and the tank doesn't have basically the knowledge. I found like fucking what's his name? Ty Lopez? Is that Ty Lopez? Yeah. So use those crystals. Also, with a Slayer, just a little tip. With the skills that you're doing, say a little combo like Square, and then Overhand Strike, and then Eviscerate, and then Overhand Strike, and then Measured Slice. So that was super, super slow. And most of the boss fights, you don't have that, like, you know, you don't have that huge window of opportunity to do all of those skills together. So what you're gonna do is something that's commonly called as animation canceling, where your attacks, like let's do Knockdown Strike. Right as you swing your sword, that's when the damage happens. You don't have to wait for the whole, for your entire sword to complete its swing. So, you know, once you see the number, you look like, you know, within split seconds, you can activate Square again to go into your combo to activate another skill, and activate another skill when that damage happens, and saves you some time. It looks something a little like this. So you go like this, boom, Overhand, Eviscerate, Measured Slice. So that was a lot quicker than what we previously showed, and it still does all of the damage. I can show you here. I'm gonna go, oh wait, oops, wrong button. That was my overhand. So we're gonna go up to this guy, and we're gonna do the combo and with the animation canceling, and you guys can see that the damage still goes through even though I don't make the full swings of each and every skill. Alright, let's dodge his attack. Let's wait for him to do. Alright, here it is. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. It still damages him instead of, because at the beginning of your swing, that's when, not the beginning, but like right as your blade basically hits the monster, that's when the damage happens. You don't have to wait for the whole thing to complete its swing. This goes for other classes too, but mostly the Slayer, because even though it's a slow class, you can still utilize this animation canceling technique to dish out a ton of damage without sacrificing time. There we go, and stun him. Let's do, oh shoot. Perfect example. Alright, well, that's basically all I want to say. So use those crystals, spam those aggro skills to keep the attention off your healers and your damage dealers. Please don't get them killed. And animation cancel. Alright, peace.